to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Make yourself famous. A podcast covering all things WWE.
I have now returned to save the WWE.
NXT.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
And AEW.
Holy wrestling. I couldn't be more happy.
Here are your hosts, Kyle Gagliardi and Jim Tucker.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. OTM, Kyle Gagliardi, and one of my co-hosts is my good friend Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Tucky.
What's going on? It's been a while. April spring break for Tucky. Tucky gone wild.
Love to see it. And we got our other friend with us. You want to introduce our part-timer?
The one and only at Ian Garavaglia. Ian, good to see you. Part-time, all the time, on time, rarely.
24 time, 24/7 on the clock. Actually, just woke up from a nap time, and we're here time. Yeah, thanks, gentlemen.
There he is.
How are we?
Oh, yeah.
So, Tuck, we got like a mini you going on with Ian now because obviously Ian still lives here in Northwest Indiana, but he now is coaching for Couts, and we got to work around his schedule, and it's bringing back memories of me working around your schedule, coaching at Couts. So how do you feel about the youngster kind of following in your footsteps?
The sensei passing the baton, proud of it. And, it's fun because I'm still kind of, like, I still get to keep an eye on the program. I got some skin in the game.
Ian, I think it's fair to say the program hasn't been the same since Jim Tucker left.
I refuse to comment.
You got to remember you're on social media right now.
I am on social media right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is live, pal.
Got to be a good boy. But Tucky, you're on spring break. What you been up to, man? You enjoying the weather out there? How's it been?
Life is good. It's starting to warm up. I ended, the first weekend of the spring break was my peak week. Got my 20-miler in. We're 2 weeks away from the marathon, 2 weeks from Sunday. OC Marathon in Newport Beach, California, baby. So
heading back to Cali.
Yeah, had a game Tuesday. Got a game on Saturday, so just stayed local, but it's been nice to sleep in a little bit. And
not just any Tuesday, Ian, right?
Yeah, no, it was come Tuesday.
Thank you.
As every week is.
I haven't missed a week since Come Tuesday became a thing. And I love how Steve Signor and our MVM Pat react to it. They're not big fans of it. Not big fans of Come Tuesday.
Well, the real question is Tucky's class still a fan of it?
Shout out to fifth period.
So it's still over with fifth period?
No further comment.
Good to know we're still over. Oh, that's awesome. Let's go to the chat real quick before we get into things. Of course, Robbie Collins in the house. Good to see you, friend, giving us a wave. Ryan Vogus also here. He said, Tuck is hot. Care to comment on
Literally, that? Dude, my nose looks sunburnt right now. I look like Rudolph.
And like Robbie said, how can you not love Come Tuesday? Robbie gets it. And he also said the trio of honorary marks. So if you're watching us live right now, you see the merch. We're all wearing it. The newest T-shirt design, the honorary mark shirt. You can go get yourself one. It's very simple. All you got to do is go to the onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com. We got other options, but we decided to show off this one right here because our friend Ian down below was able to get the hookup, Ian. It's about time you stepped up.
This is actually the second shirt that I have made. I have made as in I didn't really make it. I just asked somebody to do it, and then they did it, and I paid them. So, shout out to whoever it is in like Singapore and on Fiverr and made it. So good job.
They did a good job, Tuck.
To make the fan shirt.
Yes, it was $20.
Yikes.
But hey, aren't these shirts sweet? Like they're very comfy. At least mine is. I don't know about your guys'.
Very comfy.
Yeah. text a guy though. I mean, I know how to work a little bit on some pictures. The first one, not ideal.
The next t-shirt design could be designed by our own Jim Tucker. We'll wait and find out. But go ahead, check out all the great merch that we got at the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. One more comment before we get into this week's topics. Ryan Vogus, once again, he said, there's a guy working out in front of me in an OG Zack Ryder shirt. Thoughts?
Woo, woo, woo. He's getting a woo out in.
I see what you did there. I have that shirt too, so I know exactly what he's talking about. That's a classic image right there. But guys, let's get to it. We're just gonna hop around from news topics, maybe touch a little bit on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. But the big thing going around, at least in AEW, is CM Punk talk. And according to Forbes, CM Punk is set to return on June 21st, which will be an AEW Dynamite live from Chicago. It's obviously been some time, guys, since we last saw CM Punk. But after hearing this news that he is slated for a return to AEW, are you guys excited, or has the CM Punk hype kind of simmered down for you, Tuck?
It has simmered down for me, but I'd be interested in giving it a shake, and getting the other stuff outside of it.
Ian, how you feel about this? These rumors going around of CM Punk's return?
So it brings up, I hate the fact that it is a rumor, and we know, and according to Forbes and all that, I don't understand who holds all the secrets for AEW and what they like. Could we just stop? I just want to be surprised every now and then, and I'm skeptical of it, and I hopefully it doesn't have any later, I guess, complications with CM Punk coming back to AEW within the roster, but it's worth taking a shot if it's mutually okay, like especially with the Elite, and they're very high up in the business there. So I'm interested in seeing what could happen from it.
I think it's a no-brainer to the people that are sitting there saying, I don't want CM Punk back in AEW. I want to say why not, because I think this is like Robbie is saying, and I said it on my personal Twitter, it's what's best for business. CM Punk's a draw. He was probably their number one guy when he was with the company. And Tuck, with All In coming up at Wembley Stadium, wouldn't you want a guy like CM Punk to be on that card to put butts in seats?
A lot of seats at Wembley, I echo what Robbie said. It's a good business decision. I just hope they can keep the line straight, keep it clean. That's what I'm hoping for.
And a lot of real life heat has turned into some great storylines. So if they're able to put that beef aside, I think it's a no-brainer for that to be his creative direction. Wouldn't you agree, Ian? If he were to return, do you think he kind of just falls into the feud with the Elite?
I mean, he has to, right? I mean, I don't see any way of them. They can't push him as a single star because you'll have all this controversy just lingering over his shoulder at all times. I mean, he's going to have to come back as a heel or try to be a heel with the fans' interaction. So you kind of have to go that direction. It's just how you get there and actually get the fans that genuinely hate you is going to be interesting to see.
Ryan Vogus says, suck it up and do business. Elite or babies if it doesn't happen. Yeah, I feel like it's a no-brainer decision, like you were saying, Ian, to just jump right into that feud. But I think another option could be, if they don't want to go right into that right away, is to potentially feud with Chris Jericho, because we have seen that they've had beef over the past couple years. He's been very vocal on social media, that being Chris Jericho. So I think that is definitely another option. I don't know how long this run is going to be for CM Punk. I don't think it's crazy to say that this could be the last time or the last run of CM Punk. So me personally, I'm just going to forget that media scrum happened, Tuck, and sit back and try to enjoy it. I don't know about you.
I will be doing the same thing. Let's go.
What's going on? Tino in the house. He says, what's up, guy? It's Tino's time. Pleasure to see you live in the chat right now. And if you are watching us live, let us know your thoughts on CM Punk potentially coming back to AEW and what you would like to see him do. But like I said, the rumors are that he could potentially come back in Chicago. That is when he made his return on AEW Rampage, it was in Chicago. So I think that's another great decision for them to do because you're going to get a positive reaction. But like Ian was saying, he probably has to come back and be a heel. So if he's returning in Chicago, he's not going to be treated like one.
Yeah, and then another thing too is how do you get the elite there? Because I mean, that's going to Wembley is not that far away. August is not that far away, and you kind of have this blood feud between BCC and the elite. How do you close that up in a timely manner? Do you have CM Punk join BCC? It's a lot of questions that I have, but I don't know how we're going to get there. But if there's any man to believe in to get to a feud in time, maybe not a good feud, but in time, it would be TK.
Robbie Collins got a question for you, Tuck, because I did tag you on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it. He said, Tuck, you repping that Yes Boy merch? New merch just dropped for Pretty Deadly.
Oh, are you? I didn't see it.
Wow. Oh, you didn't see it? Go to your mentions. I tagged you in it. I tagged you in, I think, yesterday or Tuesday when. It's live right now. Yes, go check it out right now. Go to your Twitter, check your mentions. It is fire merch. So I'm expecting Tuck to be making that purchase here tonight. So Robbie, thanks for bringing that up.
I'm going to be on mute for a minute here.
That's fine. Ryan Vogus also says, I don't know why, but I need a Punk faction with Miro in it as his bodyguard. And that's something I never even considered, Ian, but that could be something, I think.
Yeah, any way to bring back Miro into the picture and put him on TV is a win in any book. It doesn't matter where he's at. The guy produces some great matches, so I wouldn't be against that at all. I mean, when's the last time we've seen Punk with a bodyguard? It had to have been with Luke Gallows.
Yeah, with the Straight Edge Society.
Yeah.
I mean, he had Paul Heyman as his mouthpiece, but that's not obviously a body, so it's a little different. And I know this is a little off topic, but speaking of bodies, Wardlow seems like he's got Arn Anderson's backing now. I don't know if you guys were able to watch AEW Dynamite, but that's something to keep an eye on for sure. So obviously, yeah, CM Punk is probably going to be coming back, whether you like it or not. We think it's best for business, but we will find out here in the next couple of weeks because I'm sure it's going to be happening very soon. But another thing circulating with AEW is the rumors of another show called AEW Collision. And this is interesting knowing that they already have AEW Dynamite, AEW Rampage, AEW Dark, AEW Evolution. There is so much AEW content out there, but they are set to debut a second show on TNT specifically, like I said, called AEW Collision. The rumors are right now that the show is scheduled to debut June 17th and will run from 7 to 9 Central. I think that's an interesting spot for AEW to, have a show at, primetime Saturday night. How do you feel about this idea, AEW Collision?
Well, if it's going to be on par with Dynamite, right? Like Dynamite and Rampage are not the same thing. If this is going to be the SmackDown to Dynamite's Raw, I think it's going to be interesting. That's like a 5:00 show for me. So like right in the middle of the evening, that might be a Sunday morning rewatch for me.
Yeah.
I sat every Saturday at that time. It's interesting, but AEW is going to be on like 6 days a week.
And if you really want to count it, you have Ring of Honor under that umbrella too. So they're running that. You're including that in the 6 days. Yeah. So a lot of
Dark Elevation, Dynamite, Ring of Honor, Rampage, Collision.
Ryan says, I never heard of AEW Evolution until 7 seconds ago. Yeah, I think Paul White is on commentary for that, but I've never watched anything on.
No, that's Dark Elevation.
No, it's called Dark Elevation.
Yeah, there's Dark and then there's Dark Elevation. Yeah, there's two of them.
There's just so much I can't keep track. And Tino likes Vogus's idea. He said, man, I want Miro back on TV. Punk, I do want him back, but hope it would just be his last. And I definitely think it is going to be his last run with professional wrestling. Robbie Collins in the chat as well. He says, another show, sleep schedule is already bad enough. Yeah, like he's saying, so it would be 7 Central our time, but 1 p.m. UK time. So I guess he will be able to watch that show. So that is good news for him. But Ian, hearing this news, do you feel like it was necessary?
No, not for a new show. I think you needed to revamp Rampage because I think you need a brand split at this point. As much as like that would be a WWE cop out and copy, but you need a brand split because there's so much talent. There's so much talent to show, and there's no way to do it in the 2 hours you have with Dynamite.
Yeah, and Rampage kind of fluctuates too, especially when other sports have their playoffs. They get bumped by like the NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs. So then it's like, oh, we got this unusual start time at 10:30 on a Friday night or 2:30 on a Saturday. It's like, are you going to have to move Collision around too? But we saw more rumors, Tuck, that the reason that they might be creating AEW Collision is to, like Ian was saying, have sort of a brand split, but to sort of avoid the drama that is going on within AEW between CM Punk and the Elite. If that is the case, that's probably not a good reason to start a new show, right?
It's an like, how much pull does this guy have that so many people dislike him? He gets his own show. That's a power move. If it's good, do we need more AEW? Like, I don't know.
My AEW consumption is Dynamite Wednesday every week, maybe a Rampage. If there's nothing else going on, I don't even record it. If it's on, I'll watch it. And then, of course, I'm going to watch every pay-per-view. But other than that, I'm not watching anything else. And sure, maybe there is a Saturday, the weather's bad, or there's nothing to do, all your friends are busy. I'll turn on AEW Collision. But like Tuck said, Ian, it's probably just going to be DVR'd. And if it's not hitting on the first couple weeks, I'm out.
Yeah, no, I'll give it a shot like I did with Rampage, but Rampage lost me because Rampage is so easy to just, oh, what happened? I could go look on Twitter real quick. I could see if the match is good, and I could, if I need to go watch it back. But a whole new show on a Saturday is tough because the only time you're getting people to watch on a Saturday or a Sunday is if it's a pay-per-view, and it is must-see. Well,
that's another issue, too. WWE recently has been doing Saturday PLEs. They're not going to get any viewers when WWE's running the show.
Mm-mm.
Well, so there's a lot of obstacles there in that Saturday night.
Yeah, and then knowing TK's ego problem, he'll try to book that show as strong as he could to compete with the PLE, which, all right, but it's not going to pull anything.
See, but I think one thing to consider would be like make it one Saturday a month, but make it like an extra Dynamite spring break-in, like theme it. But it's a 2-hour show on TV. It's not a PLE, but you can pay off some feuds in a different way, make change themes and things like that. Once a month, another Saturday, run on a post from WWE, but.
Yeah, you get all your title matches that he wants to stack up on a Dynamite on those Saturdays. I like that idea. And then do your storytelling on Wednesday.
Tuck, you're onto something there. I don't know if they're going to do it, but I definitely think...
They're listening.
Tony's definitely listening to the On the Mark Wrestling podcast. Let's go to the comment section for a little bit here. Tino's Time saying, only problem I see is that it's summer. Who is really staying in to watch it on a Saturday night? He makes a great point.
7 o'clock Central Time, like 5 o'clock for me. If I'm home, but like sometimes I do stuff on Saturdays, but I try.
Yeah, for sure. And Robbie said couldn't get watching the rest of Dynamite. Who won the main event? The main event. What was the main event? Why am I blanking? Do either of you know?
Sammy and Jungle Boy.
And Tina was in the comment there helping out Robbie, and he answered that. So, yeah, Sammy got a little help from MJF. But look who's in the chat, too. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my lovely mother, Donna Gagliardi. Hello, Mother. Good evening to you. Vogus is commenting on that rumor of Collision being started because of the beef. He said if that's the case, nobody in that locker room should respect Tony Khan. I mean, he's not wrong. And like Vogus is saying, too, that's Hogan and WCW level vice grip on TK's balls that Punk has. I mean, we saw that, that press conference. He didn't give a fuck about Tony Khan. He was just saying whatever he wanted. So I don't think he really respects him at all. And like Tina was saying, with the help of MJF, Sammy got the win. So, yeah, interesting rumors going around for AEW. I'm excited for CM Punk. not sure how I feel about AEW Collision, but you got anything to add on about AEW?
Well, yeah, I wanted to get your guys' input. I listened to Busted Open. I know you do, Gags. I'm not sure if you do, but they mentioned, and they've been talking a lot about All Access. And do you guys believe it's too much and we see too much behind the scenes? Because you have Sammy Guevara, and he's supposed to be a top heel in Jericho's Appreciation Society, but we see him as this lovable guy that's hugging Daniel Bryan after their big match. I want to see what you guys feel, because I have my opinions, but I want to see what you guys feel.
Tuck, I'll let you take it first.
I definitely think it's an interesting approach, but I, to this point, have not associated Sammy with like good, lovable guy. And I've watched every All Access. Was kind of bummed.
I think it's a solid show.
I think it's fun.
Mm-hmm. It's fun.
A different way to spend your time. You're not running. It's not like promo, commercial, bad segment, squash match, but it's the people we know and like or are learning more about too. So I think it's good. I haven't made that like distinction, but I could see how somebody could. But for me, I like seeing behind the scenes to learn more kind of about the business. So,
well, that's the thing is like, well, not to say it, but we are marks, so we understand where the business honorary marks, but we understand the business. So it's like for the casual viewer, if you're trying to get casual viewers in, and then you say, hey, go watch this show to show these guys are actually faking everything. They don't actually hate each other. To a normal casual viewer, I could see that as it could be off-putting to some or to most, in my opinion. But I think it's detrimental. But also, it's nice. It's good for the casual viewer.
I think in today's day and age, wrestling's obviously different. You have wrestlers on social media with their real names, interacting and being friendly with other wrestlers that they have on-screen feuds with. I think that critique that you were talking about is more from the older generation, before technology and all that stuff. Because, like we were saying earlier, stuff gets leaked like CM Punk returning, or the order of the show gets leaked. We're living in this day and age where everything's so accessible. Having AEW All Access, it doesn't bother me personally. Ian, I don't know if you answered that specifically. Do you agree with that take that maybe they're doing a little too much, or you don't care either?
Well, it's like, yeah, like Tuck and you said, it's like, I don't really care because I know what we know the business. We know what it means, and they're not actually wanting to kill each other and pin them to the mat. And
I'm sure some are.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's my only issue, especially if you're a company like AEW. I think if WWE made a show like this, it'd be a million times better than AEW and more beneficial, because I think WWE fans, they understand. But AEW fans, if they're trying to grab people in and show somebody like, hey, I know you're not a wrestling fan, but come tune in, but also go watch this that shows that it's not real, but scripted. It could be an offset for new fans.
Yeah, I think it's a good option for people to watch, and it's conveniently after Dynamite, except for this week, like Tuck was saying. So once you finish up Dynamite, it's like, oh, I'm already sitting down. I might as well watch it. But the beef that Britt and Thunder had was pretty real. I forgot what episode it was, Tuck, but you could tell that there was definitely tension with Thunder Rosa in that women's division.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I'm going to bring up Vogus's comment. Sammy was getting go away heat for a while. Could have been to change the view of him. At the end of the day, AEW gets to pick what they show, right? Mm-hmm. So I think they're on that end of it could be intent too. And now they're running All Access, and we're looking at Ty, and she's got this story developing about how she doesn't have an angle. Now AEW has a choice: give her an angle and reply to All Access, or completely bury her. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes. I think that element of it, like Vogus pointed out, is a good one.
Yeah, I think that's another beneficial thing from it is you can create your own stories out of All Access and bring it to TV on Dynamite and Rampage.
And make some of it look like real life.
Like you were saying, you feel sympathetic for Ty Conti. It's like, why isn't she getting an opportunity? It makes me want to root for Ty. So now maybe she gets put into a feud after this whole Outcast Britt Baker feud is over with. I definitely
she walked Sammy out last night and doesn't always do that. on the show, she's not walking him out. So, here's Ty from All Access too.
And Tino and Vogus asked, I think we kind of answered it. Do you guys enjoy it?
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up to AEW All Access. But other than that, Tuck, you got anything else you want to talk about from AEW? Are we ready to move over to the WWE side of things?
A good segue. An AEW member commenting on a now WWE member. Dustin Rhodes made a comment about how they're putting Cody on this journey because he started AEW, kind of to saying this challenge and the adversity he's going to face to the title now is because he went and started his own company successfully as well. Like, were they going to put him, like, let him win the belt right away after? Anyone that knew that he was in AEW. So just thought an AEW guy commenting on a WWE guy. Transition thoughts?
Well, go ahead, Ian.
No, I was going to say I don't think it really has to do anything with AEW and WWE. I mean, they're brothers, so I think that's just really where it goes to. And I don't want to stray the question. Is the Dustin Rhodes, that documentary, is that worthwhile to watch?
Dusty Rhodes one. Legends?
Dusty Rhodes. Yeah, the Legends.
I like that.
Okay. Sorry, that was beyond the point. But yeah, I didn't really have much to say with that.
I don't know what it was on, but I remember hearing Dustin even agree to the point that he thought Cody should lose at WrestleMania because that's what Dusty would have wanted. Because Dusty went through so much shit in his feuds. Like, his feuds would drag on. He wanted it to be cinema. So after, we're a month maybe or so after WrestleMania now, I sit here and I'm hearing all these opinions from family members and people that have been in the business for decades. It's starting to make a little bit more sense why Cody lost at WrestleMania, right?
Mm-hmm.
One more comment here before we move on over to the WWE. Ryan Vogus said that MJF commented on the Cody Mania loss too. Oh, I didn't see that. Did you guys hear about that or no?
I didn't see anything. No.
Please share more, Vogus. I'm very curious on what he had to say. But let's pivot on over then to an upcoming event for the WWE, the WWE Draft. We briefly talked about it last week, and now we know that there is dates for the WWE Draft starting next Friday, 8 days from now, and continuing on the following Raw will be their draft. We are considering potentially doing a show next week with Ian and I, or maybe a guest representing each brand and doing mock drafts. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But Tuck, I didn't get the chance to ask your excitement for the WWE Draft. Do you feel like this was needed? And how you feeling about things?
I don't know that it was necessarily needed, but it is a convenient way for Triple H to start putting his stamp on things further. Reshuffle, restack the deck, get some different players and different matchups. So I'm pretty excited about it. And I do have the MJF comments. It was on the video he did with Sean Rossap from Fightful.
Oh, do you have any? It's a video. You said it's not like a quote or anything that we can.
I can read it. Yeah.
Yeah. Say the quote.
He said it in kind of paraphrasing. They've had a very interesting past. He's been a mentor. He's been a friend. He's been a mortal enemy, all wrapped up into a neat, cute little succinct bow. He thought he came across as a top guy in that main event. He's transformed his body much like MJF has in the last year. But let's be honest, I'm bigger than him and in better shape than he is. He looked like a top guy, was presented like a top guy, had a top guy outing, had a top guy match. He just didn't win. Unfortunately, some nights you just don't win. Cody Rhodes is the epitome of putting the work in.
MJF gets it, man. I knew there was going to be that little jab in that quote. There's no way MJF can just compliment someone the entire time. Vogus is commenting on the draft. He said it's the perfect post-Mania reset, generates excitement in a boring time. And Ian, I know you've gone through phases watching WWE regularly, but I think you've started to get back into it on a weekly basis. Does the draft add to that excitement level for you?
Oh, yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the last draft would have had to been 2018 or 2019, around that region before COVID.
It's been a couple years.
I was gonna say, and I remember watching it back then, and I was excited for it then, and I'm really excited now because you have a way of breaking up. I mean, you have the bloodline to break up, you have the Judgment Day to break up, and by the way, you have the Otis kind of little storyline that has been formed from the draft. And I think that's just kind of little cherry on top. It's just small little things that are being added to it that you have no idea what's going to happen, which I love that uncertainty in WWE.
Yeah.
Last WWE draft was in 2021.
Yeah, a couple years ago. Okay. Yeah.
Remember, it was that sporty feel. Like they had like
the draft room.
Box, it had that NFL drafty type feel. Yeah.
Yeah, like Robbie is saying, the last one was with Mick Foley, Brian, and Stephanie and Shane. Yeah, and now I'm starting to remember.
You guys want to do a little draft trivia real quick?
Go for it. What you got?
All right, you guys each get one guess. Can be the same guess. Who was the number one overall pick? We're gonna go down. The first handful. Number one overall pick to SmackDown.
Roman Reigns.
Ian.
Finn Balor.
Roman Reigns, 1 point guess. What the fuck?
Finn Balor.
I might have been thinking about the other draft. I think that's what it was, because he was the number one overall pick for some other whatever.
Do a couple more.
There were 4 rounds of the draft picks during night one of the 2021 draft. Unlike previous drafts in which Raw received 3 picks and SmackDown only received 2, both brands had 2 picks each. In the round. Raw in round 1 with the second pick took who?
Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Fuck. No. Fuck. I think I know who it is. Ian, what's your guess?
I was gonna say Becky.
Can I have a second guess?
Yeah, you got to say final answer.
Bianca Belair. Final answer.
Wrong, both of you. First round, second pick from Raw to Raw, Big E.
Oh.
He was the WWE champion.
Yeah.
He was the champion. Okay. I didn't know if he was the Money in the Bank holder or the champion. Okay. That makes
sense. Let's do the top 5. Raw had the third pick. This person went from Raw to SmackDown.
Raw to SmackDown in 2021.
No, it was SmackDown Raw. This is the SmackDown.
Seth Rollins' final answer.
Shoot, you're right.
This person went from Raw to SmackDown.
Seth Rollins.
No, it wasn't Rollins on SmackDown.
Oh, shit. I don't know. I'm not good at this trivia.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Number 3, this segment has blown up. Number 3, Charlotte Flair to SmackDown.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay.
Number 4, Bianca Belair to Raw. And number 5, Drew McIntyre to SmackDown.
It's hard to remember these things. I know it was only a couple years ago, but it feels much longer. So, like I said, though, we might have our own mock draft next week. One person representing Raw and one representing SmackDown, of course. But we got a lot of comments here, so let's get to those. Robbie Collins said his draft excitement is through the roof. He can't wait for the mix-up. Few names definitely need a change. Definitely agree with you there, Robbie. Dirk Vogus in the house. He said, I'm a little late, but I'm here, and that's all that matters. Tino makes a good point. He said he's excited because he thinks this is finally going to be the Triple H era. I saw that report that they're thinking this is like the great Triple H reset. So that's a very good comment there from Tino. Ryan Vogus said Gable Steveson was a first-round pick in the last year's draft, I think. Is that true? Because I don't think it was.
No, I don't think so.
He was drafted in the 6th round, the 23rd pick on the second night. Raw night 2, October 4th. Becky Lynch was taken number 1 on night 2. So it was 2 separate nights. Seth Rollins was taken 5th on night 2. You guys have strongly remembered the Raw a little bit better. Okay. Sami Zayn drafted after Gable Steveson.
Oh, interesting draft
history. There are some interesting trends and things like that. The way they split it up, etc. Xia Li was drafted ahead of Alexa Bliss.
Okay. I guess you could say that was a bust of a pick, but hey, at least Tino's enjoying your segment, Tuck. He said this is fun. And then he also is asking, how do you guys think they do it this year? It's a good question. I think a snake draft, don't get cute with it, just make it standard.
The way they did it was last year they would do they went like the first 6 picks were like rotating Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown. And then Raw would start getting 2-to-1 picks every like 4 rounds, something like that.
That just gets confusing. Why can't we just do the good old-fashioned snake draft like it's a fantasy football draft? Just make it easier. Don't need to get super cute with it, WWE. But I am starting to get more excited as we are only from the start of the draft. So that'll be cool to watch. But we got more WWE stuff to talk about. But first, we're going to take a quick break to hear what the listeners are saying about the On the Mark Wrestling podcast.
What's everybody saying about the On the Mark podcast?
It's just insane, and I love it.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
Unlike any other.
It's a great show.
We'll be right back after a brief intermission.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Tino said, can we bring back the wheel? Why do I not remember that? They did a wheel for a draft?
Is he talking about like the spinning thing where you pick up balls out of the machine? Is that might be what he thinking of?
I'm not sure. It's not ringing any bells, but that's like for the Rumble, ain't it?
What about the Wheel of Gimmicks for Halloween Havoc? That was cool.
that I did enjoy. That definitely rigged though, right? They probably had someone
waiting for something, waiting it on the backside or something, so it always ends in that spot or something.
I like this comment from Robbie. He said, take a break, get some water, but don't throw it at Liv Morgan. Yeah, we saw Liv got splashed by Chelsea Green. I believe it was on Monday Night Raw. But let's go back to last week's SmackDown because a big name did return last Friday, and he is Shinsuke Nakamura. We haven't seen Shin in a few months, and it looks like he's being presented slightly different than before. New ring gear a little bit, tweak the entrance. I think this is a fresh way of returning Shinsuke Nakamura, wouldn't you say, Tuck?
Yeah, kind of like a refresh, not a total reset, different kind of thing, but let's tweak a few things upon his return, make him a little more interesting for everybody, those that knew him and those that have tuned into the product since he's been away. So looking forward to it.
Ian, I don't think I've ever asked you this question. What are your thoughts on Shinsuke? Are you a big fan of his?
The old Shinsuke, until they kind of made him that it was almost a gimmick character to the point like, oh, we have Rick Boogs playing the guitar. That's kind of where it lost me. But man, old Shinsuke when he came up from NXT was winning the Royal Rumble, and it was great. But it all kind of went downhill with that feud with AJ Styles, and he had to punch him in the nuts every single match he could. I think this might be the way of bringing him back to his old form, which would be awesome to see.
It would be, and they kind of dropped the ball with Shinsuke a little bit, especially with that AJ feud. Obviously, they had history over in New Japan, but there is a big storm coming right now, and all of my windows are open, so you guys are going to have to keep talking while I close my windows, please. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you something about Shinsuke Nakamura. I was just confirming my WWE shop order for the Pretty Deadly shirt.
Let's go!
I'm sending a picture to my wife. Yes, boy.
Yes, boy.
Shinsuke Nakamura was one of my original WWE shop purchases. Did not fit me any longer. Grew out of that one. Shrunk out of that one. So
that's it. I was about to ask. That was being my question. Was it growing up or growing down from it? So
growing out of it. Haven't worn a large shirt in about 3 years.
Yeah, same actually. Really.
I went in the opposite direction. I was a medium and I went to a large. I can hear you guys. So
now from like Pro Wrestling Crate. Like I have so many shirts now. I think I'm going to send them out to get like a t-shirt blanket made because I just have so many. I can't wear all of them, but I like all of them.
Yeah. Tino says Nakamura, happy for him. Hope he benefits from the draft. And I think that's what I'm most curious about is what do they do in creative now? Is he a title holder? Does he go after Gunther? I think that is the direction that I would like to see. I don't know about you guys, because I think a Shinsuke Gunther match at, let's say, Money in the Bank or SummerSlam,
Well,
that's money.
he's definitely not a main title picture. Obviously, I don't think that's in the
Not yet, because
Not
he
yet.
once was.
Correct, but I think there's still that rebuilding process. But with his return, you could see him winning a title, and him and Gunther would match so well. I would love that.
How many times on this podcast have I fantasy booked a match for Gunther?
Well,
It's
speaking of Gunther, you think of the Gunther Sheamus Drew kind of style in that Intercontinental Championship scene. I was thinking about this last night with AEW Dynamite. Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs making that TNT title kind of the slap and meat title, with that feud going on there, similar to the strength and kind of violence of the Intercontinental title at the WWE. Thoughts?
Yeah, it's like the working man title, isn't it? I kind of like that direction for both. I agree with you there. So yeah, we'll see what's next for Shinsuke, but it's always good to see him on TV. So welcome back to SmackDown for now. Maybe that'll change in the WWE draft, but a new direction for Cody Rhodes is what's happening on Monday Night Raw. Obviously, we know he lost to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, so we got to build him back up. And that new challenger being the Beast himself, Brock Lesnar. He now has his match confirmed with him at Backlash. Roman hasn't been on TV for the past few weeks. So, Tuck, do you see this as a story that is going to go past Backlash? Or is this a match that you think is just going to be a one and done, and then Cody's going to move on to the next guy?
I don't know. You could have Cody win straight away, but that's a lot of time between now and SummerSlam. And is that just the only challenge? Or do you have Cody get beat, have a credible reason to want a rematch, overcome Brock, and then have him go with someone else? Do you have Cody win and he goes on to who's next too? So it's what are they thinking? So
it depends what I think the final destination is for Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. But me personally, and I don't know about you, I think this has to go past Backlash just to give Cody something to dive into while Roman's away from TV.
Yeah, but it's hard to say that because like if Brock gets a clean finish over Cody, it's kind of hard to build from that. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're not.
So do you bring in the bloodline to interfere with the match and kind of bring more heat towards the bloodline, while also giving a reason for Cody to come back and fight Brock again? There's a lot of questions that I have.
My question to you, Tuck, is the build so far. It's been a couple weeks. We saw Cody was trying to get at Brock on Monday Night Raw. Obviously, he wasn't able to. And like the comments section is talking about, we had a Brock taker going on there. That was the vibe he was giving off there with his new ring gear. Do you think the build leading up to Backlash has been good?
I think it's been good, and I think both of these guys have the potential to cook it up to great in the next couple weeks. I'll be watching Backlash in California the night before the marathon. Excited for that.
Oh, shit. That's the night before CCW opening day, too, Ian.
Oh, I don't.
We got a big weekend. Come on. Puerto Rico's going to be popping for Backlash. That's going to be good stuff.
The issue is I'll be down at Purdue University that night. So going to be watching it probably in a hotel room.
Just Purdue.
Yeah.
Out of all places.
I know. Going for friend's graduation.
Oh, congrats to your friend.
My friend.
Who goes to friends' graduations?
To drink.
Okay. For the record, guys, Ian is of age now. He is 21, so he can say that on this podcast. He never had a drink before that, though, right, Ian?
No, I actually never had a drink in my life before. Throw that away, actually. Never had a drink in my life before.
I already know this comment relaxes me ripping Purdue. I mean, what did you expect, Bogus? I graduated from IU. That's our biggest rival. But anything else you guys want to add on about the Cody and Brock feud, or you cool to move on?
I actually kind of had a little thing. I
Yeah.
just wanted to mention it's kind of weird with Cody fighting security guards and stuff. I don't know if that's them trying to show his I'm pissed off side or heelish side. I'm kind of intrigued by that and to see where they go from there.
like a super serious, edgy Cody Rhodes.
Right, yeah, almost kind of like a edge,
determined. I'll do anything.
Right, yeah. So that was something.
What if Cody's just down bad in his match against Brock and he low blows him or does something to get DQ'd?
Oh my gosh, you get a happy Corbin vibe going on, and it's happy Cody.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Thumbs down on that one, dog.
The 5 live viewers we have is about to shrink to 0.
Oh, and there it goes. I'm seeing the number go down right above.
Respect to the end of days, though. I like Baron Corbin being back, made an appearance on Raw. So,
yeah. Backlash is on Tino's birthday, so hopefully it's a great show. And happy early birthday to you, Tino. It's always cool to have a PLE land on your birthday. And Vogus says faces and heels fight security guards. LOL.
Yeah, fuck the security guards, I guess.
We got Titus Goki.
That's Titus Goki. Shortstop, Douglas High School Tigers.
Hey,
JV baseball team. What a guy!
Oh, hey, look at he's also a big fan of the tribal chief himself, Roman Reigns. He gave us a comment.
I maybe he's a sneaky fan. I don't know. We haven't said a word to each other about it.
Oh, maybe Titus is gonna have to get himself an honorary Mark shirt. We're wetting the beak here. Love it. So let's move on to another thing from Raw. Our real taste of heel Trish on Raw. As she was cutting her promo, she looked absolutely fantastic. I mean, Trish Stratus as a heel, I think this is going to be very good stuff because she also got her entrance kind of tweaked a little bit, different vibe to her. And I felt like she was speaking nothing but facts in that promo, Tuck.
I got a hot take here.
Ooh, what is it?
I didn't like it.
Ooh.
Okay, why?
Put me to sleep. Canned audio over top of it on my end, like through the roof. Like they put more crowd react. People are not moving their mouths, and there's this buzz and rumble as she talks. I thought she rambled. It was fine.
See, I liked it. And you got to remember, too, she probably hasn't cut a heel promo in 18 years. So maybe I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt just because she's one of the legends. Ian, I don't know if you were able to see this promo. How are we feeling about heel Trish?
I didn't see the promo. I probably should, actually. But I love the idea of heel Trish because it's kind of a new look on her character. I mean, arguably Hall of Famer and just...
Arguably, she is a Hall of Famer.
Well, like, there's just no doubt that she should be.
Great argument there, bud.
Thank you. Like I said, arguably. But it's a new look on her character, and it's not the whole idea of bringing any legend back and just kind of being the babyface. I like that move by WWE because you really don't see that too much in bringing someone back as a heel.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed what she was saying because, like most heels, even though you're supposed to hate them, sometimes those assholes are speaking the truth a little bit. So here's a couple quotes, and you can tell me if Trish is wrong saying that. When I first started in WWE, the women's division was a joke. Fact or cap?
Cap, or no, fact. Very, very much fact. Yeah, very much fact. Yeah.
She also said, I was the first woman to make you people give a crap about the women's division. Without me, there would be no women's revolution and certainly no women in the main event of WrestleMania. Fact or cap?
I think Mickie James has something to say about
cap.
That.
Okay. I took out Lita. The reason I needed Lita out of the picture is because I needed to be crystal clear that the person who screwed Becky Lynch out of her title was me. Obviously, that's fact because that's part of the storyline. And the last thing I wanted to bring up that she said that really hit home with me, I'm not a nostalgia act. I'm not your childhood fantasy. I damn sure am nobody's sidekick. I am the most important figure in the history of WWE, and I am here to make sure none of you forget it. That's a great line right there. I don't know why Tuck's hating on heel Trish.
Cap.
It's a great line, but it is cap.
Yeah, it might be cap, but I think that's a strong heel line right
correct.
There.
Yes, correct.
So Tuck, you're not excited, or just the initial impression of it was you weren't feeling?
We'll see. Yeah, I'm not like bailing, but you know, I got bored. So
Vogus said it couldn't be worse than Darby's promo. Fact or cap?
Fact. Big fact.
Yeah, the first hour of Dynamite was kind of rough for me. I don't know about you guys, but they picked it up in the second hour, I would say. The last thing I kind of wanted to bring up, it's been a few weeks now that we've gotten to get a feel for Sami and KO as tag team champions. Ian, how do you feel about their run so far?
I don't want to say what I want to say, but I'm going to say it. It's kind of, you got your pop at WrestleMania. You got what Sami wanted and Sami deserved, and along with KO. But it's kind of that cheap pop, and it's hard to do anything with it after. I'm not totally bought in. I was bought in at WrestleMania when they won it. But right now, I don't know.
Well, Tuck, I think we've said it numerous times on the show. The babyface, it's all about the chase, and then you get that big payoff. What do you do from there? And it might be too early to judge him, but I don't think what Ian is saying is wrong.
My stance on Sami and KO right now is I want to see what happens after Backlash. You know what I mean? Put it to bed at Backlash. Who challenges them next? And what's the angle going to be? We were on their side because we believed in what they were fighting for. What's next? Are they just going to be badasses and be the unbeatable, great chemistry, tough team? Or are they going to turn heel too? Maybe they're so fed up they turn heel.
Well, that kind of leads to what Vogus is saying. Do they break up and fight at SummerSlam? I think it's a possibility.
I think that's a Mania match, dude.
Yeah, that's also a good point.
I was going to say,
but Mania is a long time away.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because like I think we haven't had them on the same page for a while, since really NXT days when they're together and had that little breakup there, but not little breakup, but they had the breakup. So I don't think I would like to see where they could go and see what storylines they could create, because they're great wrestlers. So maybe that is turning both of them heel or keeping them both babyface and losing the titles. So
do you have the Usos regain the straps in a couple weeks, because they do have a tag team title match? Do you play a little patty cake with it for a little bit?
I don't think so.
No?
I genuinely don't think so, because if you want to keep some bloodline kind of discrepancy and breakup going, I don't think you could have them win the titles back.
Yeah, because then it just makes the bloodline stronger, and then we're kind of going back to where we were. Tino says, I'd love to see them feud with the Creed brothers. I think that would be a pretty good feud. It seems like the Creed brothers are definitely on their way up to the main roster after losing their NXT tag team title match this week. Tino's also saying like Eddie versus Ray, maybe HBK versus Cena, but yeah, definitely a Mania match between KO and Sami Zayn. And Ryan Vogus, of course, he says, send Veer. Veer's hanging out. And
that is the answer.
Robbie Collins says, Otis and Gable to beat Sami and KO. Thank you. I think those two are breaking up.
Cap.
Appreciate it, Robbie, but Cap. They're probably going to be breaking up here very shortly. But that's really all I had on
Gable, though. He's funny.
Would you like to see them kind of push him in a singles way after the draft?
Yeah, but keep shushing and thank youing, because I think that's funny.
He literally is the modern day Kurt Angle, right?
Correct. Yes.
Just he hasn't got that opportunity that Kurt had. But I think if you give that opportunity to Chad Gable, that's a guy that could really benefit from the WWE draft. And maybe that's something we talk about a little bit next week when we're mocking just guys that desperately need that change. I think Chad Gable would be one of those guys. And Tino agrees with us. He says a singles run for Gable ASAP. Yeah, I am down for that. But guys, anything else you want to talk about in the pro wrestling world?
Pro wrestling world? No. I did confirm the Pretty Deadly shirt, so I got that on the way. Very excited about that.
Yes,
that's the only thing I'll think about until it gets here, probably. So,
do you have an update on your wrestling children's book?
The first draft of Text and Colors is done. We got some edits to make and text to arrange and rearrange, and we're getting close. I think he's still working on covers, but when your illustrator also designs FTR's ring gear and that merch they were wearing on Wednesday, my illustrator designed that. The illustrator I get to work with, not like my illustrator.
No, you.
I mean, I have paid him. I have paid him fairly handsomely. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So excited about that. Should be done soonish. I want to go to these shows. Like, I want to go to wrestling conventions and set up a table and be a vendor.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Oh, you can sell merch there too.
We can rotate the table. Yeah, we can rotate the table. I work a little bit. You guys, we get to walk around, do our meet and greets. What a life! What a life.
If you lived in this area, we would definitely be able to set up a table at Warrior Wrestling. We've actually been offered to do a podcast at one of the Warrior shows. So that is something potentially in the works. So keep an eye out for that. But when your book does become available,
we need a show the last week of July. Warrior Wrestling, book a show last week of July. I'll be there.
And and our sources are saying that they are potentially working out a stadium series for the end of July.
Okay. That'll work.
So it might work out. And when your book does become available, Tuck, it will be available on Amazon, correct?
On Amazon, yeah. Working on the website, jimtuckerbooks.com. Got to work on the Twitter and socials, kind of get a ramp up going. So it'll be fun. Book 2 is already written. So once we get book 1 done, we're just moving right on to book 2. And it's going to be a series, right. If Veggie Tales met pro wrestling, what would happen? Food fights.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll definitely tweet out all that stuff once that becomes available, so you can support our co-host here, Jim Tucker. But Ian, any final things from the wrestling world you want to discuss, or are we ready to give out the MVM?
Well, to quote the great Jim Tucker, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan, and I appreciate being on.
Yeah, so let's get to it. The MVM, the most valuable mark of the On the Mark Wrestling podcast. Unfortunately, the current MVM was unable to make it due to transportation issues. Pat is no longer the MVM, and the King has returned. Ladies and gentlemen, and new MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling podcast, Ryan Vogus. He's back.
I think I have a great idea for a job for Ian.
What's up?
Go back and listen to the end of every episode since we've started MVMs. And figure out what the championship total is, and then we only have to update it once a week.
Oh, that's a lot of work.
I'll get to it.
It sounds like it is, but you got to go listen to the last 2 minutes of every show.
Gag, shut up.
Sounds like a lot.
Speaking of getting to it, where's the vlog?
Get into it.
That's the answer you're going to get from Ian right there, folks. He's getting to it. Dirk is ecstatic that his son got the MVM, and Ryan Vogus has a quote after getting the win: "Transportation issues, no excuses. I've been at the gym the whole time. The King is back." There you go, folks.
Facts.
There you go.
A real one.
I think that pretty much wraps us up. Tucky, you want to send us home for episode 150 or 143?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're digging the shirts we're wearing, or if you like it on just one of us, maybe not the other two, but you like looking at it on one of us, but not all three, visit onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com. Shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, leggings,
tank tops,
coffee mugs, and every purchase does support the channel in small ways. So we'd appreciate if you consider going to onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com. Make sure you follow us on the socials. We got TikTok, Twitter, Instagram at Pot on the Mark. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and you subscribe. Thank you for all of you guys that have left comments. We're excited. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Kyle has something to say.
I just want to pull up these comments here to get your guys' reaction. We said Robbie said rigged, and then he said it should have been Tino's MVM. So we got a little clap back for the first time. I want to clarify that it is not always the person commenting the most. It's the person that's giving questions, takes, all the good stuff. So quality over quantity sometimes, right, guys?
No, actually, we all voted for Vogus because he's been a part of OTM for the longest.
Oh, so it was rigged?
It was rigged. Yep.
Yep. Here you go, guys. Just like wrestling, it was rigged. It was scripted. He was going to be the MVM. So.
Oh, okay. All right. We gotta wrap it up here.
Fight.
Things are getting scrappy in the chat.
It always does. And it's supposed to be playful, but it never ends up being playful banter between that individual.
Those chats are taking place on Facebook and YouTube. You can watch on Twitter as well, but you can't comment. So you got to go to YouTube or Facebook. Make sure you get those comments in. And while you're at each, like, subscribe. We appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.